and welcome. This is Tampa Home Talk, and we've got a pretty full 2 hours lined up for you this morning. Before we do that, we're going to dive into our monthly stats, as we do every Friday morning, right at the top of the hour. And these numbers look about the same as they pretty much have been week in and week out, Leo.
Wait, those are monthly as opposed to weekly?
No, I'm sorry. Did I say monthly?
These are weekly. These are weekly.
Yeah, give me some slack, okay? It's been a rough week.
I'm sorry.
So, new listings, 927.
I love this color. This chart's in color. For the YouTube people out there, you can see that there's color bars.
So that's how we actually look at it. When we log into the MLS, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, but I like the spreadsheet tabular form.
I bet you do.
For the engineer in Leo.
So the sold listings are over that number of new listings. So again, we're under a 1 month absorption rate, which is 1,176 new sold listings in the last 7 days. And then pending is over 1,800, so 1,811. And again, the absorption rate, if you're just joining us for the first time, what that means is it's a very basic supply and demand. So in real estate,
lease numbers on the rise.
Yes, in real estate, we measure that by looking at the number of homes available for sale, the number of active buyers in the market, and how long it would take to swoop all of those up and no new homes, if no new homes came on the market. And so that number is less than 1 month supply of homes. If no new listings came on the market, they'd be all sold in less than a month.
Swoop.
Yeah. We've never seen anything like this, really. In 30 years, I've never seen anything like this.
So even in the height of the crazy boom from 2005 to 2008, the numbers weren't on this level?
No, not like this.
Not like this?
Not where it was it was swung the other way, if you remember. So, I mean, in the height.
Well, I don't remember. I wasn't in real estate back then.
So in the height, it still wasn't as crazy as this. We didn't have it was way more than 1 month absorption rate. And on the flip side, when the market crashed, we had literally, I think, probably at the worst time, about an 18-month supply of inventory. And right now we have less than one. If that kind of gives you an idea how different the market is now compared to...
Is the fact that most of the United States, which is solidly frozen without electricity, does that impact the fact that those people can't get to Florida where we're having record highs?
I think it's going to add to the continual number of people that we see moving here every day. And so I'm told 1,000 people a day move to Florida. I think that number's higher.
No, I'd believe it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all of Florida. Higher. I mean, that also counts Eastern Alabama. The Panhandle.
I think it has to have an FL address.
No, it's the Panhandle.
Oh, the Panhandle. Okay, yeah. Eastern Alabama.
Yeah.
Got it.
Everything from Tallahassee west is Alabama.
Okay. All right. So let's chat about a couple of listings that we have.
Wait, how do you have listings in this?
We won't.
1 month absorption rate.
So normally we go active. Here's the thing. Normally our process is we go active on a Wednesday. And then right now, they've not even been making them to Friday. And so many of our sellers have been delayed. And I'm going to have Mimi get 2 more because I've got 2 more that are not on the list. So one of them is Bonnie Blue Drive. So that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Wesley Chapel.
How do you know that? There's no...
It's an acre of land. It has a pool for $300,000.
There's no sheets.
I know there's no sheet.
How do you know all that?
That one's fresh in my head because
she's good like that.
Okay, so in Wesley Chapel, 6534 Bonnie Blue Drive.
Yes.
3-bedroom?
3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool.
With a pool.
And an acre.
So
for $300,000.
So it's 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom.
3-2.
No, you said it has a pool.
No, it's still 2 bathrooms and a pool. Yeah. Okay, and then Southwell Lane is still sticking around. We figured out what the glue is on that one and why that one's still tacky, and we know that is because we have a tenant that's a little tough in that one, so we're going to have to figure that one out. Mimi, I also want to talk about Park Strand because I know that one is on the market, and then also the new one we have coming in South Tampa on West Shore.
She's just making stuff up at this point.
No, I'm not. Like, literally, those two are not. Well, Park Strand, I don't think is even reactive on the listing. That's the one, remember, that was by Maiden Sea.
Oh, yeah.
In Waterside. That one... Listen to this. The buyer canceled because he said his taxes were going to be too high. Well, you know what the taxes are before you make the offer. Like this guy pushed us to make an offer the same day. But that's okay. I have a buyer myself that wants it, and I think we got another offer already. But it's still available for now. I don't remember the address on that one. We'll get it for you in a minute. It's on Park Strand. That one is amazing. It looks like a model. Truly looks like a model home. It is incredible.
It walks the runway?
It does. I'm telling you, man. It's got the red carpet and all. It looks great. Not really red carpet, but it's a great property. It's got all the extra stuff. Literally, this guy has a whole, like, wine, not cellar, but it's like a wine area.
Well, that explains
in
the
his
red
house.
carpet.
Yeah, and it's got in the kitchen. He's got a kegerator. He's leaving with this bar top. It's really just the house.
Why is he selling his home?
Military.
Okay, I was here expecting to hear rehab, but
Military. No. He's military. He's moving overseas.
oh wow. But
So-
so is he storing his collection, taking some of it with him?
That's a good question.
I had some friends that were military, and it was the opposite. They were stationed in Germany. They kept collecting beer and wine and other things, and when they were finally destationed, they came back with a wine room worth of stuff.
Yeah, I imagine they're going to take some of it. They said that they were not taking most of their furniture, so I imagine the remaining stuff that's going to be packed is going to be wine. Not really sure.
Yeah, if I had a choice between taking furniture or taking booze, I'm going to take the booze.
Oh, yeah. I can
If
see
I'm
you
gonna
taking
have
the
to-
wine all day
If I'm going to
long.
have to store one of the two, I'm definitely storing the wine.
Hear
So
that.
Furniture is easy to replace. Wine isn't.
Park Strand is one. I don't remember the price on that, so I don't want to blurt it out without having that. And then the other one is coming up. That's in South Tampa. And that one is like a seal in South Tampa. I can't remember the price on that one either.
A seal?
A steel.
Oh, I thought you said
Yeah,
seal.
like probably the dirt alone almost might be worth that one, but it's a nice property. It's an older style, but Plant High School. And so if you're a buyer looking and you want to get some information on this, or
Warm.
you want to get a value on your home, just call or text us at 813-377-2775. We'll give you all the scoop on the new listings coming on the market, as well as if you're seller looking for a value of your home. We can also make that happen if you're trying to buy and sell. That's a big deal right now. I've got several people that want to buy and sell, and they're like, I don't know what to do. I can't find anything. I don't want to put my house on the market until I actually find a home. We have a very good strategy to do that. So again, the off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text 813-377-2775.
I don't know.
So
these
the
listings,
reason why you're
one listing-
confused on
one
this-
listing says pending and one
No.
listing says sold.
So this one has not been reactivated yet.
This
The
is
one
like
on-
a 10-minute absorption
No. I
10
know.
minutes.
Like literally, it's not even active. So I'm saying, but it is available. So if you're an agent listening, or you're a buyer, or you're somebody looking in water site, you're looking to move up, this is a amazing property. As you can see, it went pending in not even a day. $675,000.
And it
It's a
says-
4-bedroom, 3-bath with
Says
a pool.
yes to pets, so it comes with pets.
No, you can have pets. So that address is 6904 Park Strand Drive in Apollo Beach. And then the other one that we have, Mimi, this doesn't help me because it's an old listing, and I need the new price on it.
2908
That is
Southwest
the
Shore?
address, yeah,
Oh,
20
this is a cute little house.
2908 Southwest Shore. It's right, if you know where that little inlet is, like if you're going down West Shore that goes to the bay, like that's where
It
the
looks
house
like
is.
a little caterpillar. When's it going to turn into a McMansion?
Yeah, it may.
When's it going to pupate to a McMansion?
That's the interesting thing. You know, that my client that owns it is a roofer, and he's like, I know I need a roof. Should I put a roof on? I go, not yet. We don't know who your buyer is going to be. Like, if they're going to tear your house down, then you probably don't want to put a roof on.
How is there something this... Oh, this is the old listing.
That's the old listing. That's
From-
very, very old, and it's been completely remodeled since that time. So we might have to get you the price on that when we come back after the break. Unless I can, you talk for a minute, and I'll see if I can find it. How's that?
What about what?
You don't have anything? What are you seeing from the inspection side? I mean, we can't get you guys to schedule stuff fast enough. You
we're
say you
seeing-
are,
on
but
the
I don't
inspection
know.
side, we're getting the more difficult homes. Pretty much, basically, if it's a simple home, we're getting no requests for it because people are just buying them, and they know the market's so tight right now. They don't really have a choice in their mind on what they're buying. So we're getting the more complicated homes. We're also seeing the out-of-town buyers. For your out-of-town buyers, if you're a local realtor listening, do not use the home inspection report as the only time the buyer walks through the house. The buyer should be walking through the house, even if they're an out-of-town buyer, the day before that closing.
It works for you.
No, they need to walk. The buyer needs to walk through the home.
I agree.
There's too many times there's been like furniture throughout the house, and then there was something that should have been caught if someone walked through the house when it was empty that no one walks
Yeah.
through the house. I don't understand how people are not. I understand put your offer as sight unseen. I understand contract sight unseen. But don't sight unseen the possession of the house. You need to get some eyes on it. I mean, we had another one where basically, what was it? A roof collapsed because of a storm. Hurricane Ida. Roof collapsed, and they didn't walk through the house. No one walked through the house afterwards. So
Yeah.
basically,
You
a big
walk
hole
through.
in the bedroom.
Well, Sunset Park is where this is, 475 on West Shore. 2908 Southwest Shore. That will be live today. As soon as we get photos, it'll be live. All right. 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. You can call or text us with value or whatever you like. We'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. Adam Talley just walked in, so we got to rearrange the studio seating here. How you doing, Adam?
Just a little.
Man, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I don't think you're turned up there here.
Yeah, he needs to be turned up. No, that's two. Oh, boy.
Oh, got it.
Oh, boy. No, this was the thing that we used to...
It was all the way down. You know that, right?
Oh, it was? Then
Yep.
That means it wasn't recording on the
Audio?
audio on the...
Have you been missing that for a while, or was it just moved today?
Must have been just moved recently.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Well, we may or may not have audio for the... Stop turning that dial.
You need to turn it up if you're going to have YouTube sound.
YouTube is going to be very interesting this week.
Yeah, I don't know what the volume's going to be like.
Guess what? You can get the audio from Pat George and have fun editing. Leo's like, no, I don't want to do that.
Oh, wait, that's the input one. That's the one that says the input's the... When you talk it through the mic, that's what comes in there. There is no microphone on channel 2.
Oh, that's
should
why
be
it's all the way down.
But have you guys messed with the other two dials?
No.
Okay, good. I should
Listen
write
to the
down what those-
engineer get all freaked out.
Well, it's important to have
Engineer
sound.
/ production.
Production.
Yeah.
manager.
All right, so the rest of this hour, we are joined by Aaron Dunavant with Danahy and Murray, and also David Green with Woods Trial Law. And we're having you guys in the studio today because there's a couple bills right now that are really important for the consumer to understand. And I think it's one of those things where I think most people are like, la, la, la. They're about their daily grind and whatever they have going on, and they're not paying attention to what else is out there that could be a big deal later. And so this will be fun to even have Adam chime in, from the insurance perspective. But let's open up in case it's the first time someone listening. What kind of law do you practice, and why are we even talking about this bill?
Sure. So, again, I'm Erin Donovan. I'm with the law firm of Danahy and Murray. Thank y'all for having me again.
I love that Kentucky thing.
Well, I did wear the Kentucky blue Danahy
Look
and
at
Murray shirt.
that.
I feel like they got this color blue just for me. But anyway, for those that are watching on Facebook Live. But anyway, I practice in the area of disputed insurance claims. If you are a homeowner or commercial property owner and you have a claim that you put in with your insurance company that's either been denied or underpaid, undervalued,
not paid at all.
not paid at all, delayed, or whatever else have you.
I laugh about that because you just worked on one for my son. It was kind of the same deal.
It was the same deal. So we try to get those claims turned around for you and your claim paid as we believe it should be under the policy. Now, we don't take every case. Sometimes our expert engineer evaluates the case and says we can't help or whatever else, but there are times where legitimately there's an issue with the denial, an issue with the underpayment, and then those are the cases that we take, and some of them have to go to court, some of them we're able to resolve without court.
So, Leah, why would the expert engineer say no go? Did you hear what she just said?
Who's
Were you
expert?
listening?
I was listening.
He was
You
on a
are the
different
expert
planet.
engineer.
There's the
Less of
insurance
an expert
company's
now.
expert engineer, and then there's the independent neutral engineer that actually represents all sides of the table. So which engineer are you talking about?
Okay, what engineer were you talking about?
Well, talking about you.
Yeah, I was talking about Leo specifically here. No,
And he wasn't listening.
I was
listening.
talking about a lot of times, especially in the case of a full-on denial, where the insurance company is saying this roof clearly is wear and tear, marring deterioration. We see that a lot. I have my engineer check because, a storm hit the property on June 13th, 2019, and there were 0 leaks before the storm hit, and now there are 9 leaks. So please help me understand. Well, have an engineer go look, because I'm not an engineer. And if the engineer verifies what I think, just as a layperson, that, seems like there wouldn't be those leaks but for the storm, then we have a case. If the engineer says, no, this is insurance company's correct, it was wear and tear, then maybe we don't have a case.
Is there on the wear and tear, is it visually, or do you do it by age of roof sometimes?
It's a science, actually.
Okay. Well, enlighten us.
It is a
Of
science.
course it's a science.
Yeah, so on wear and tear, I mean, wear and tear could be like a tree brushing up against the roof.
Constantly.
Limbs cut too close to the roof. Other wear and tear, and I had this one yesterday, unfortunately, where you know how this time of the year the oak trees decide to, they
shed themselves.
They say we don't have seasons of leaves and there's no leaf dropping here in Florida, but anyone that lives in Tampa knows this time of the year there's nothing but brown leaves all over the place. Yeah. So when those brown leaves get in your valleys, when they get all over your roof and you don't have them removed, they just become sponges that wear and tear your roof out during the rainy season.
I think they're mad that the leaves don't turn red before they turn brown.
Is that what it is?
That's the problem.
Because every other weekend when I'm out there with I had to get a new air blower that actually.
Ooh, proud of you.
That doesn't plug in.
Yeah.
It's one that has a battery pack. I've had to get that.
Did you get the backpack blower?
I had to.
I knew it.
Were you also the kid with the backpack super soaker that's back in the
I don't use it. My wife uses it. But anyway.
Oh, my gosh, Leo, you just stripped all your manhood. Don't say that on the air.
So, yeah, the wife, she loves it. She chases the dogs with it.
I think I'm just going to hang out at your house just for entertainment.
So basically,
I will too.
So
we'll set lawn chairs up in the driveway.
So there's leaves dropping all over the time.
Back to let's reel it in. But how do we determine this roof?
So that's it. So that's wear and tear.
Okay.
So occasionally you get foot traffic and wear and tear. And those are two causes that could cause your roof to be damaged outside of a storm event. But when it happens,
visually speaking, though, if I'm looking at let's say I go home, I look at my roof, how would I be able to tell if my roof, has wear and tear on it?
You wouldn't be able to.
I wouldn't.
You would have to get up on you live in a
right. I'm
building.
The person.
You would have to get up on the roof, and you would need experience. I've taken courses in how roofs age and how they get damaged.
We've scared Adam so much he doesn't even want to buy a house. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about this claim stuff.
Yeah, but that's what you need to do. You need to have someone who has experience and knowledge and training specifically in how roofs age up on your roof to determine was this wind damaged or was this age related.
Got it. Okay. All right. So it's House bill and Senate bill. Which ones?
Yeah. So there are two bills that, in my professional opinion, are anti-consumer that are floating around right now. It's Senate Bill 76, and its companion bill is House Bill 305. And why are these bills potentially problematic if passed? Well, basically because they gut what has been historically known and given in Florida, and that's replacement cost coverage for your roof.
That's a big deal. I know that when we refer people to Adam, we say make sure you get replacement costs.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we use the example of the TV, right? Like that if you don't have replacement costs, they won't replace your TVs. They'll depreciate them so far you can't buy a new TV.
Yeah.
Like same thing is true for your.
Yeah, that's more on contents where we're looking for, because like she said, the homeowner's policy should cover it.
Well, the point about replacement is you can't replace what's there, right? If they take it away.
Well, right. And so the issue that is really the problem for Florida homeowners that I want you guys to be aware of is basically the proposed legislation says that if your roof is older than 10 years old,
That's a baby roof.
Yeah.
Well, that's a baby roof because even shingle roofs have a limited life.
Does that apply for metal roofs too? So
it does. It's a little bit it's a limited by percentage depending on type of roof. So if your roof is older than 10 years, they can limit coverage to 70% for metal roofs, 40% for concrete tile and clay roofs, 40% for wood shake and wood shingle roofs.
Do those exist
And
anymore?
25, maybe not. Good
They
question.
shouldn't.
That's
They
another
shouldn't.
topic. That's a whole nother day. And then 25% for all of the roof types. So that's your asphalt shingle, your
Most of the
architectural
shingles
shingle,
in Florida.
etc. Right. So that's why, so basically what that means in the event of another catastrophe to hit Florida is that people are going to be coming out of pocket. And I actually listened to the committee session hearing, the Senate and Banking Committee session hearing, and certain senators in favor of the bill were saying things like, well, people just need to start saving up for their roof. And I'm like, well, okay. Use me for just an example, and I'll use some rough numbers. I pay about $2,000 in premiums per year. Let's say my roof is $10,000 to replace or $12,000 to replace. I've paid for that roof by paying my insurance premium within 5-6 years, right? So what are we paying insurance for? So yes, there's a lot of concerns about rate increases and different things like that. However, a lot of that has to do with reinsurance. A lot of that has to do with other things. It's not just, litigation, claims, things that you might hear for people that are in favor of
So
the bill.
I'm going to say something because I remember when the sinkholes were a big thing, right? And you have to combine that with what was going on in the economy, right? So in the economy, the housing market was crashing. People were losing their house. And at the time, there was sinkhole coverage on most insurance policies. And so this has changed over the years when some bills passed that say, there's kind of no longer really any they changed something. You probably know this, to where you can't really get sinkhole insurance anymore.
I mean, you can.
You just don't
Oh,
want to
come
try.
on.
You
Yeah,
can
you
try.
cannot.
Or they won't write
There's
it.
a huge difference
Right.
between a
Try.
sinkhole, which is something that's going on underground that you really need to do $5,000 to $10,000 worth of testing to validate whether or not you
I
should or
understand.
shouldn't put a claim in, versus
point-
a roof which you can physically see.
I understand. The point is, I think it was abused, right? Because a lot of people called this the sinkhole lottery. I think it was abused by many people, and they took advantage of it. And here, that's where we are. So
That's why you
sometimes
get
I think,
catastrophic.
well, we're seeing that sometimes now. And we'll talk about them and come back.
Yeah.
We're seeing that now with the roofs, right, where people abuse it. But the catastrophic ground collapse, like you're,
Good luck.
Yeah, your house has to be labeled inhabitable by the municipality.
813-277 through
We'll be back.
775.
The production.
Oh, I forgot to
today.
hit the I forgot to hit record on the thing until just now. Anyway.
Wow,
also
we
have a
just
little bit of fun
really,
here.
it's a ragtag team this morning.
Yeah. I'm just so shaken up over this new legislation.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
do cover good stuff. We're a little goofy.
We
have some
are.
fun, but-
We're talking about, insurance carriers and what they're trying to do to, I guess, limit coverage at this point.
yeah, so House Bill 305, Senate Bill 76.
In your opinion, though, do you think it's going to limit premium increases? Because I think they're trying to curtail losses, of course, and I think we're looking at, I don't know a single person that didn't have a rate increase this year. So what do you think on that end to it?
Well,
You said they don't like the attorneys. I think they like the insurance companies less. So.
well, that's good to hear because I certainly don't like insurance companies.
Yes,
I'd sue them for a living. So
and remember, I sell it. I don't work for the company, so
no, you're fine,
Adam's
Adam.
come a long way over the past 3 years.
We've educated Adam.
We used to jump on him. He's like, I gotta go.
No, it's there's no guarantee. There are no guarantees. And one thing I'll say is, rate decreases or less increases were promised after AOB reform. They still went up. Rate increases and the lack of or the lack thereof were promised after other types of reform, and rates still increased. I think we have to look at reinsurance rates and the cost of reinsurance. I think we have to look at the fact that we were just hit with Hurricane Michael, Matthew, Irma, and Sally all within the last 4 years. And I think there are other contributing factors to the rate increases. I did read a study that was commissioned by Citizens Property Insurance Company and done by Florida State University. And what I'll tell you about that study
trust
is...
it now.
Well...
FSU.
Well, that was, right? Okay, so now I've got your ear. And what I'll tell you about that study is of the insurance carriers that asked for these really great rate increases, like 30 and 40% rate increases, only one of those carriers, at least quoted in the study, said first-party lawsuits were a cause of their request for a rate increase. A lot of them cited reinsurance cost increases. So there are no guarantees. What I don't want to happen, though, is all of my homeowner clients and friends and people in Florida that I know to vote yes because they're promised a rate decrease or lack of increase, only to have their coverage become skeletal.
Right.
That's the concern. At what cost? I would rather pay $600 more a year and know that I'm not going to have to fork over $12,000 for my own roof than the consequence of this legislation passing.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Well, you hit the nail on the head when we were talking about the sinkhole thing going to the extreme and the pendulum completely swinging the other way too much.
Yes.
Do you think they could do it to where the carriers could give an option for it. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, you want your roof to be covered, that's $3,000 a year. If you want it at ACV, it's $2,000 a year. Do you think they could do something like that?
Well, I think that that's a more reasonable approach than just, I think the legislation permits it. They do have to make it conspicuous, in the policies,
Right.
the bold and all that stuff. But I think what's going to happen
You're gonna
is
have a 5-page deck page
Everybody
instead of a
reading the
4-page
bold
deck page, right?
well, right. No, and I think
the ordinance or law one comes up all the time too. So
I think the problem is if it's statutorily allowed, all carriers are going to jump on it. That's what happened, like Katrina said, with the sinkhole. Is once they once it wasn't mandated to provide sinkhole coverage by statute, and all you had to provide was cover collapse, then carriers dropped out, and either they charge an arm and a leg for it, or they won't underwrite it. They go out and they see one crack in the foundation, and
Oh,
they say,
yeah.
Right.
we're not writing it.
that's how I tell my
So-
clients that ask about
I don't know
it. I
one
tell them,
house that doesn't have a crack. I'm just saying.
You talk to every builder, it's all we build on sand, it's just settled in cracks, it's totally normal until you try to get sinkhole coverage.
Yeah, you're not
No,
getting
people
Slow
ask me
down.
all the time, can I get sinkhole coverage? Because we get a lot of people that are coming from out of state, and all they see is things on CNN when it takes like 5 houses. And I tell them, like, this is the process. We still have to write it without it. It's going to be out-of-pocket cost for you for the sinkhole inspection, whether they add it or not. They're going to look for anything, and then the underwriters are looking for any reason not to add it. So, like, if a sinkhole breathed in your zip code one time, like, done. No chance.
It's the bottom line is you cannot get sinkhole insurance. They can say whatever they want, you're not getting it.
Well, if you get it, then there's a 10% sinkhole deductible.
It's a huge
So if you have a $300,000 house,
Yeah.
that's $30,000 out of pocket.
In 4 years from now, do you want us having the same conversation, but just replacing the word
replacement.
sinkholes, replacing
Yeah.
the word with roof?
Yeah, so I agree with this. So first of all, which way are you advocating people vote, yes or no?
Yeah, so
And-
they need to, what I would recommend is figure out who your local representative is, your local representative or your local senator, and write that person, say, please vote no on House Bill 305 and on Senate Bill 76, and express the problems that you have with the bill. I'm a homeowner. I have a tile roof. I'm concerned that if I'm hit with another catastrophic event, you're only going to be liable for, a 40% of my tile roof.
Well, let's
tile
face
roofs
it.
are expensive.
We live in
I'm gonna have
Florida.
to sell my home if I have an issue with my roof. I'm going to be forced out of my home.
Well,
We live in Florida. We have
Yeah.
storms. It's part of it.
And the insurance companies are looking to the future. They've been looking at all these climate reports in the next 5, 10, 15 years saying, hey, we're going to have more weather events. We've had 26 or 30 named storms last year. It's like the most on record. We're going to have more claims.
So they want the money. They don't wanna
insulate
insure.
ourselves? Correct. Let's start getting rid of these old roofs that we know we're going to have
Right.
to pay replacement for. So this is their long game of just saying, let's just decrease whatever we can cover, increase the liability on the homeowner, and protect the insurance company's
I feel
profit.
like they're already doing it, asking homeowners for updated 4 points and wind mitigations when their house gets to a certain
It's
age.
still crazy. Now we're getting to the point on 4 points where if we say the roof is less than 5 years old, homeowners are complaining because they can't get insurance. I mean, we still say the roof has life, and the insurance companies don't want to touch it.
well, you're going to end up with a lot of people at Citizens again. So remember back in the day when everybody after, what was that, 06, 07, when all the storms came
four
through?
storms came, and I think it was 04, 05, 06.
Yeah. Charlie, Wilma,
And then
Ivan.
all the big boys backed out of the state, and then everybody went to Citizens.
I feel like there should be like a private insurance, like something else. Not to pick on you, Adam, but I look at this and I'm like, this is just kind of swinging the wrong way. Like, why are you even like? This gets to the point to where like people, if their house is paid off, they're going to say, well, why do I even want insurance? It's not covering anything. I'll take my $2,000 a year and just save it in case something happens.
Well, that's the problem. Is the insurance lobby? Are the insurance lobbyists shooting themselves in the foot? Because when coverage gets so skeletal, people are going to self-insure. I mean, this becomes a
the problem is they won't be
counterintuitive.
able to.
If they have a mortgage.
There's nobody. I mean, how
If
what's
they have
the
a mortgage.
what's the percentage of people that don't have a mortgage?
Well, that's a good point,
I know
too.
it's high. So what I'm saying is, like, where's the middle ground? Like, I feel like if it gets to a certain point and insurance just continues to increase it and legislation continues to strip out this coverage to where there's not much of anything left, I mean, you're talking 25%. Let's put some real numbers on that so it makes sense. Like, what?
I mean, they're going to charge for it. That's what you're going to end up with. The
So then
base
it gets so
policy will be
expensive you
stripped,
can't
and
afford it.
then if you want it, they'll charge you for it.
And
That's how it's going to work. So it'll be pay to play.
So can we use a couple examples on this? Most roofs are going to be shingle. They're going to fall under that 25%. So what does that look like, Aaron? Can you give us some examples?
Sure. So let's say, like in the example I used earlier, let's say I have my roof's 11 years old, so I'm not at the 10-year. A catastrophic event comes through. All of a sudden, instead of the insurance company having to pay for a replacement of my roof, which I
Would be
purchased,
how much?
Let's just say $7,500.
Okay.
Sure.
I think it's probably more. Let's use 10 for even numbers.
okay,
How's that?
10.
Okay.
So then, if the insurance company's only liable to pay 25% replacement, then I'm on the hook for the other.
And how does that
But
work?
if it's
So
more
if
than
it's
that,
a
what
ca-
about
your deductible?
Deductible. So I'm going to say
Deductible?
So it's a $2,500 payout. They're going to slap $2,000 in deductible, and then they're going to
Oh,
give
if it's
you a
catastrophic, there'll be a 2% deductible.
So they're
it'll
Right,
be
and that's the other
So
thing
they're all
is-
going to be below deductible. So insurance is going to turn into a joke.
Yeah. Well,
It's it is a problem. I
So
think
how
this
much would they actually
legislation.
pay? I mean,
Zero.
$10,000 roof, 25%.
Is they're
Talking
gonna
about
pay
2%, so nothing.
You're going to pay zero. You're going to get the typical.
Maybe $2,000
Yeah.
towards it, which is, kind of a wash by the time you've, paid $2,000 in insurance for 10 years leading up
Yeah.
to the storm. The other two things that I want to talk about with regard to this legislation, if I may, is there is another couple of components to the bill. So currently right now in Florida, you have up to 3 years under the current statute to report a windstorm claim, 3 years from the date the storm made landfall. This legislation would make it so you only have 2 years, and it takes out the windstorm exception and just says 2 years for any claim. Now, y'all probably sitting there at home scratching your heads going, well, why do I need that long? Well, tiles, for example. We're chasing leaks. I see a lot of these claims. I have probably, I don't know how many claims back at my office, but I see a lot of these tile claims. You're chasing leaks with a tile roof, and you may not see leaks in your ceiling until sometimes between 2 and 3 years after a major storm event. So maybe you didn't see pieces of your tile all over your driveway after Hurricane Irma, for example, but you now see 3 different leaks pop up in your house. So it cuts off it at 2 years, and not only for initial reporting, but for supplemental claims. And I think the real issue is the supplemental claims, because let's say you put in your Irma claim 5 days after Hurricane Irma, but then those leaks pop up 2 years later and you need to make a supplemental claim. Well, if you're 2 years and 1 day past that, you can't make a supplemental claim. You're cut off.
Or after you rip everything off in the roof and you find more damage that you couldn't see from the top.
So this
Right.
this might be a better question for Leo here, but how can you tell 2 years after the fact that it was from that specific event and not wear and tear?
Honestly, I cringe every time I'm now given a file and it's like, it's from Hurricane Irma. I cringe because if it's a tile roof, it's easy. We can look at the level of wear on the cracks of the tiles to see age. But if it's shingle, I'm basically looking for growth underneath the shingles that have broken seals. It's not an exact science, and I can kind of get within a 6-month range. But I kind of don't. I get cringe when I go out on an Irma case because I'm doing geology to figure out how old these cracks are.
Are you a geologist? I
No.
thought you were an engineer.
I'm an engineer, but I have to be a geologist.
Those engineers know everything, though.
But we basically have to practice geology to figure out how old these cracks are and about what point a windstorm came. So now I get asked, was it Irma or was it the December storm that happened right after that? I'm like, well, it's either or. Because it's so old, I can just get it into a band.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's the winter storm, it's a $2,500 deductible. If it's Irma, it's a 2% deductible.
And all the insurance
Yeah,
companies
good
want to
point.
push straight towards the name storm so they get the higher deductible.
What's
Well,
the
and it goes into
likelihood of this
reinsurance.
actually passing?
10 seconds.
That's a good question. I do have some.
All right, hang
I'll
tight.
get into
We'll talk about
that
it when we come
next.
back in a break. All right, stick around. We're going to give you more information. We'll be back. Welcome in.
Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Welcome home. Welcome home. So,
Welcome home.
We'll get you there.
talking about House Bill 305 and Senate Bill 306, I do have some major concerns.
76.
76.
Yeah.
What did I say, 306? I did.
We should just deny
305 and
all
76.
bills. Just deny all bills.
We were
Post
talking
no
about this
bills.
over
Post
the
no
break,
bills.
and I think a lot of times the people that put these together don't understand the dynamics of what they're doing. They think, oh, this just sounds good, and we'll just draft this. Great point, what you said about some people lobbying in Tallahassee saying, do you want to be the person responsible for this little old lady that can't get her roof replaced?
Well, wait till they don't get their roof replaced. I mean, they're consumers too. That's what they don't understand. We insured a former politician, and he had a claim. Actually, was it Irma? What hit the Panhandle? Michael. So he had a Michael issue.
Eggs hit the panhandle.
Yeah, and he had Citizens because it was in the wind pool. And he was like, "Oh man, why are they taking so long?" I'm like, "You created them. What are you talking about? Like, you know how it goes."
And Citizens isn't liable for bad faith.
Right.
So Citizens can just kind of do whatever it wants as far as delaying the claim and not have the hammer of the bad faith statutes, which has always been a beef of mine as somebody that sits on the front lines. But yeah, I mean, the other issue that this bill proposes is it causes me as a representative for an insured to have to give pre-suit intent. Essentially, it's harder for us as attorneys to get paid because we have to guesstimate the amount prior to suing, and then if we're off by a certain amount, we're then penalized and can potentially get no fee. So that makes it
But
harder
you're
for
not a
insureds
roofer
to.
or an engineer, so how is that even
Well, I
fair?
know, and before we can even take discovery and litigation. So some of these other components of the bill add additional hurdles to the insureds. And the issue I take with that is I'm sitting on the front lines. I represent these homeowners on a daily basis. It's already hard enough.
Yeah.
There are already enough delays. I had a couple
Let's
of
face it,
claims.
it's not a walk in the park to sue your insurance company. It's not
It's
a
not.
5-minute thing. I
They
mean,
got
it
a
takes
ton of lawyers
years.
out there. They're making a lot of money defending these claims, and there's big business keeping the insurance company profits in the insurance company's bank account.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So
not
I
easy.
think some of this is a self-inflicted wound. I mean, some of the litigation that they blame some of these rate increases on are self-inflicted wounds. Well, if you would have just adjusted the claim properly in the first place, they would have never even needed to hire me, right? So some of the lobby groups I want to tell you guys about that are fighting hard in Tallahassee on behalf of consumers are the Florida Policyholder Cooperative. There is the American Adjusters Association. There's FAPIA, which is the Florida Association of Public Insurance Adjusters. And then there's the Florida Justice Association. So these are some organizations. I encourage you to go to their websites and look at those. I know there's a lot of backlash. There's the tort reform websites as well. But I want you guys to know that some of that is smoke and mirrors, and I know that because I do this for a daily basis. So, for example, I saw one tort reform video that said, that accused people like me of taking a $2,000 claim and somehow doing some magic and getting a $200,000 fee. I'm going to tell you right now, that just does not happen.
I was like, I don't even
maybe
see how
once
that's
in a
possible.
blue moon because the insurance company acts ridiculous, but that just does not happen. So I think some of the tort reform things that you'll see floating around out there, there's different videos and their website too. They're just a little bit misleading from my perspective, and I'm in the trenches every day, so I can say that.
And also remember the background behind all this is to have the insurance company properly adjust claims and pay out claims that they need to. And if they don't act that way, then that's when they get hit with the
Right.
financial burden. And they need that stick in order to do the right thing, because otherwise, left to their own devices, they won't be paying anything, and they'll just be keeping all their profits.
And there's good and
Right.
bad in every profession, and I can tell you because, we experienced this firsthand with my son. He messed around with it for 2 years, trying
Yes.
to do the right thing without an attorney to try to get them to pay a roof claim that was clearly, damage that should have been covered by insurance, and we couldn't make them do it. Like, you had to threaten to sue them to even get them to do the right thing.
And that was there was clear cut damage, multiple leaks, worsening damage. I mean, there are just so many issues that we see where, somebody did a half-assed job, frankly, on the initial inspection. They don't even hire an engineer, and all of a sudden, they've denied the claim. I have a great example of a property owner I'm representing in the Naples area. Got hit by a Hurricane Eta. No leaks beforehand, had a great maintenance record of maintaining the roof. After Irma, kept all those records, had it inspected multiple times since Irma. All of a sudden, after Eta, 3 interior leaks pop up. Makes the claim, insurance carrier doesn't hire an engineer, and 4 or 5 days after looking at the property and doing a walkthrough, they deny the claim. So these are the types of things where, we take a second look. Our engineer says, oh, no, this is related to the storm damage, and we're fighting the claim. But, why didn't the carrier hire an engineer, or why didn't the carrier do other things in order to further investigate? So these are the types of issues that I think cause these self-inflicted wounds that then cause more litigation, which, I can't sit here and tell you that litigation doesn't have a small contributing factor to perhaps increased rates. I can't sit here and say that. But how much of that is a self-inflicted wound by the carrier's own actions?
Right.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be,
Right.
insurance.
And when we see cases that are properly adjusted, you come in, somebody says, hey, I got X amount of dollars for this claim. I'm thinking about suing. Do you think I can get more? And if you look at it and it's a reasonable value, what do? Do you still just take that $2,000 that was misadjusted to get your $200,000 fee supposedly? Or do you tell them, looks like you had a pretty good shake?
No, we see. I have enough real work that I can't take on somebody's, wish for a vacation or something.
Yeah.
There are enough people out there with real problems that, I can't. I can't justifiably take a case like that. But we do see some people try that, and there's always bad apples in the bunch. There are bad roofers out there. There are bad attorneys out there that may have abused the system. But I can tell you, there's a lot of us out there that are grinding it out every day against these insurance companies, me and Dave included.
That's right.
So does this bill affect you at all, Dave? Because I know you do a lot of stuff with Builder.
Right. So basically, as long as there is some insurance coverage on the builder side, I'll go after them if your homeowner's insurance has not covered it. So my job is to try and hold those companies responsible, not your own insurance company. That's where Aaron comes in.
All right. So this is Tampa Home Talk. We'll dive into a little bit more with you guys in next hour, and we're going to talk about baby proofing.
Yep.
When we come back, and also a little bit on selling through relationships, which is my new book, still out on Amazon. Looking for you guys to pick it up, and also leave me a review. If you don't love it, I will refund your money personally. And our off-air number is 813-377-2775.
Text the word refund to 813-377-2775.
Yeah, he's so funny. Back in a moment.